Continuing our series of interaction, we at Insurance Institute of India have brought to you in our 7th episode an interview with Mr. Kamesh Goyal, Chairman, Go Digit Insurance, and this is being conducted by me, Ms. Madhuri Sharma, faculty at Insurance Institute of India. Mr. Goyal started his career with New India Assurance in 1988. Thereafter, he moved to KPMG and then as the general manager at Allianz India. He was CEO at Bajaj Allianz General Insurance and Life Insurance at different times. And then he moved to Allianz, heading their foreign operations in various countries, till he finally took the plunge in 2016 and founded an InsurTech startup. We welcome you, Mr. Goyal, and thank you so much for being with us today. The first question for this interaction that I would like to ask is that the future of InsurTech seemed quite uncertain for some time, and it took a long time to evolve. What did you see about the Indian insurance market way back in 2015-16 that propelled you to seize this opportunity?
So I would say, I think I don't really see InsurTech very different from the traditional insurance business. I think all companies in all sectors and also in insurance, companies have to invest a lot in technology today for better pricing, for better customer experience, to know their businesses better. So even older companies are, I would say, investing in technology, and obviously they have challenges because of their own legacy systems. When we look at, say, insurance from a digits perspective and why we started, so we felt that I think having this classical skills of pricing and claim settlement or underwriting, and if we do a startup today and build the technology architecture based on what is available today, then it can be like a best of both worlds. And that is how I would say we really started building the concept for Digit Insurance.
So what kind of a future do you see in India? Because it's picking up in a big way now, with a lot of funding taking place now.
So my sense is, I think general insurance and insurance in overall is a very attractive place in India, and this is essentially due to three reasons. One is that after COVID, people have realized that insurance, unlike other financial services, especially banking, is less cyclical. Even in a very bad situation, insurance companies can have less revenue growth, can take some hit on the profitability, but things don't go sour completely. So the downside is relatively less in a well-managed insurance company. Secondly, all of us know that in India, on one side, our economy has grown a lot in 20 years, but overall still penetration of insurance is relatively much lesser, or it is the same which it was 20 years back. So people are of the opinion that insurance will continue to grow in the next 10-20 years, which obviously makes sector attractive. And the third thing I would also say now that with FDI coming up to 74%, I think there should be a lot of interest from private equity players to enter this segment because they are awash with capital. So overall, I think I'm very bullish on insurance companies and insurance as a sector in India.
Very rightly said, sir. Now we move on to the next question. When do you think it will be easy to buy insurance as it is to buy Coke, and what does the industry have to unlearn for that to happen?
So one is that I'm not sure for all insurance products, especially if one is looking at life, pension, health insurance, that one should actually start buying insurance as of one is buying Coke, simply because some products are significantly long-term in nature. I, as a customer, would always want to spend more time to learn about insurance and what exactly the products are before I make a commitment, because these products should not be changed in a fly. As far as other products are concerned, if you look at motor business, or if you look at even simple health related products, travel insurance, mobile insurance, all these are available as easy as buying a Coke. The difference is that when you buy a Coke, it doesn't really matter whether A is buying or B is buying or C is buying. While in insurance, in some products, customer features are important. But if somebody visits our website today to buy, say, travel insurance or home insurance or car insurance, etc., the whole experience, right from generating a quote to making a premium, can be done in less than 3 minutes. So I think things have significantly changed already. But I think, and I hope we don't reach a stage where people start equating buying an insurance product to like buying chewing gum, because that will basically mean that insurance companies will only be mis-selling.
Yes.
We see that already in banks, where people have to just tick a few form boxes and they're sold an insurance product along with the loan. And I think if mis-selling, etc., has to be continued, the customer has to get a bit more involved in buying an insurance product than what is the situation otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely correctly said, So the next question that we are going to be asking you, in view of the sudden surge in digitization, especially during the pandemic, the IT security standards may have had to be lowered or suspended, putting the cyber security at a new level of stress. So in these times, according to you, what new cyber risks your organization has faced and what measures have been taken by you to counter that?
So I would say I think cybersecurity is something where one can not do enough. I think people, hackers and others, they are always one step ahead of the IT industry. So I think what one has to do in general is, I would say, continuously have audits, even have some ethical hackers to find what are the loopholes in your IT system. And one has to continuously work on that. The second is, and this is really, really important, is that employees have to be continuously be trained and made aware that they should not be clicking on attachments, on links, which is coming from unknown sources. Because one of the biggest ways people actually go for hacking, etc., is by sending this email with a free iPhone or your account is not working. I think people just see the email ID, the name. They don't check the ID from which it has come. A lot of people, I think, in all organizations now get email IDs from the CEOs. But when you click on to see the email ID, it would be from somebody else. So I think employees play a very, very big role. Lastly, I would say whether it is email ID or anything else, password security, etc., continuous changing of passwords and having two-factor authentication is also critical. I think we have seen across the world in the last 1 year, the number of attacks, I would say, of cybercrime has significantly gone up. I think that if you look at even from a premium rate perspective, the premium rates have jumped up a lot. And for a lot of companies in retail or financial services, etc., insurers are becoming a bit hesitant to give a cybercrime sort of a policy. So one has to continuously do, I think in Digit also we try and work on all these parameters. But as I said, I would never ever be complacent to say, look, we are doing everything is possible, because new kind of risk emerge on a continuous basis and one has to always be on guard.
Any particular cyber threat, security threat that Go Digit has faced?
As I said, I think this personification where they try and send email in the name of people who are working, but the email IDs are not there, this we saw. But I think, secondly, I would say in some cases, we have seen outages. Now, this outages could happen due to either hackers or due to denial of attack, denial of service kind of attacks. But overall, since I think we are cloud-based and we work with some of the top vendors across the world in this area, till now, I would say, touch wood, we have been fairly safe. But as I said, I think there's no room for complacency for anyone. Yeah.
That's really nice to know. So the last question that we are going on to is education and training play a huge role in the growth and retention of employees, and Insurance Institute of India has been a major player in this space since 1956. What do you think could be done more by the Institute to impart the knowledge growth of the industry?
So I would say I think personal exposure or interaction with Insurance Institute of India was limited till the time I was in New India. At that time, I think doing these exams, associate and fellowship and all of that was important from a promotion perspective.
Yes, yes.
In the last, whatever, I think 25 years since I've been out of New India, I actually haven't really, I don't know, I have not followed what exactly Insurance Institute does. I think the need for trained manpower is very intense. So if anyone has to, and there are a lot of colleges now who do MBA in insurance. I think all insurance companies recruit from there. So my sense is that while this exam-based courses is fine, but if Insurance Institute has to play a serious role, then they will also have to change the curriculum to include the way business is being done now rather than the way it is being done by about say 25, 30, 40 years back. And secondly, make it more skill-based to say, look, this is how you design customer journeys, this is how underwriting happens in the system and things like that. Otherwise, I think I would say that passing an exam, and I don't know, I'm sure the Insurance Institute of India would have changed in the last 25, 30 years, but I would say what one has learned in terms of subject knowledge and then applying it in the real world because of systems, etc., is a slightly different ball game. So ideally, institutes should evolve towards that also.
We have been designing a lot of courses, and now we have spread our wings to the SAARC countries, Middle East countries also, and we are into training also very heavily. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for your insights into the various aspects of the insurtech industry, and it's been a wonderful journey of yours also. And we look forward to being associated with GoDigit and you as well, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me. Thanks. Bye-bye.